Hey everyone, welcome back to Watch and Carry. So for today's video, I thought I would just give you a quick tour of my small workstation that I have here. I set this up in my study room and just wanted to show you guys some of the tools I use, what I use to kind of organize the materials, and then also maybe I'll just show you guys my watch collection so far too, which will be kind of cool. I got a few Casios in there I'd love to show you guys. So anyways, this is the work area that I have here. So it isn't much to look at, but I kind of have everything in the exact place I need it for now. So, oh yeah, and then up here you can kind of see I've got some of these Lego characters that I've collected since childhood, and some of them I actually just ordered recently. So if any of you follow my Instagram at watch_n_carry, you'll see that usually on Sundays for Star Wars Sunday, or for Tuesday for Toy Box Tuesday, I try to post some of my watches or EDC gear with, you know, some of these figurines here. So those are the guys from 300. Got Master Chief there. This section's kind of cool. Got Michael Jackson, Breaking Bad. I'm kind of pretty happy with this one. I don't know, can you guys guess who that is? Just pretend that he's not holding a paperclip, but he's holding a red Swiss Army knife. So that's going to be MacGyver. I kind of took bits and pieces from, I think, like a Han Solo and some other characters to kind of custom make that one. And then got these cars at the end too, which are kind of cool. This is obviously the DeLorean and the what's it called? The Eco one from Ghostbusters. And then these are most of the Star Wars stuff I have here. Got Mr. Bean here, Marty and Doc, Bob Ross. Yeah, so just a few things. Sorry, I got kind of sidetracked there. I really like this Lego stuff, so I'm still a kid at heart. So let's start off with the materials I use here on the top shelf. So I've got this dust cleaner, or this compressed air can. So usually when I'm modifying a watch, I have to open the case back, and sometimes dust gets into the inside of the case. And so rather than use a microfiber towel, which I've noticed tends to scratch the inside of the case really, really easily. I think it's just the material they use for that fake glass is just really delicate. So I try to blast out any remaining debris with that air duster. Got some gloves there, some wet wipes, nail polish remover. So usually when I put on a colored filter, for example, like this Casio right here, or these, usually I will secure that from the back with super glue, which you can see right here. But if I, you know, over apply too much or it doesn't turn out well, I use the nail polish remover, which is the best thing you can do to remove super glue, even from your hands. That's really the best thing you can use. And then Goo Gone and Goof Off, I use that to either remove labeling from like the outside of a case, like on the Casio AE models, it says 10-year battery life, I remove that. Or I use that to soften up the adhesive. If you're trying to remove the polarized filter from the display. I use this leather honey here for my straps. So most of the straps that I use are from Zarek. That's the one right there. That's their ribbed strap. And I think that's in a partnership with them and Horween Leather. There's another one, that same color. Got a gray one right there, and then got a gray one right there too. So that stuff is pretty good. And then Fabric Fusion. So actually, I forgot that this was here. So this actually I don't use for my watches. That's just to adhere some of the patches I have to my clothing. And then Hops number 9 oil. I use this to, you know, clean my multi-tools like my Swiss Army knife over here. Once I'm done cleaning it, I'll re-oil the joints with the Q-tips here, and then some Hops No. 9 lubricating oil, or the O-rings on the back of a watch when I think it's too dry. And then for music to keep me going, I'm using this Anchor. I forgot what this is called. Anchor something. There's the model number. See if I can focus for you guys. Anyways, Anchor Soundcore 2. This thing is awesome. It's got great range. Easily connects. Got some controls here on the top for volume and pairing and pause and play. And the battery life is awesome. It's, I think, 24 hours is what they quoted at, and I found that to be pretty accurate. So I use it to play some music, you know, if I'm modifying something. And then down to my actual bench. So lining the whole bottom of this bench is this like rubberized material. I bought this from Harbor Freight Tools. This is one roll here, and I think I paid like maybe $6 for the roll. So I think it's pretty cheap. And the good thing with this stuff is it's really grippy. It's easy to clean. It's black, so it's easy to film video on top of. And then it's also soft. It's really soft. You can see it's a little bit thick. So it's really good for putting delicate watches, especially the glass of the watch, on top of it to work on. Then just kind of took a couple pieces of foam here that I cut from my big mouse pad that I didn't need, so that way I have some cushion for my arms. And then here's kind of the meat of what I use. So again, this tray, it's one piece. I got this from the same store, Harbor Freight. I think I paid like $7 for it. And they've got different layouts. Like if you want them to all be this long across, they have that. They've got smaller ones. So I just bought this one because it's plastic. It's got small trays in it for my different parts. You can see I've got spare watch parts here that I'm working on, or that I'll use every now and then. My watch straps, stuff like that. So these are the filters that I use for doing the modifications. So this is called like a sample kit. So usually people use this to put in front of, I think, like video lenses to add a different filter. And so if you weren't quite sure what filter color you wanted, they send you this sample pack. I had to pay for this one. I paid about $5 on eBay shipped, but oftentimes you can just contact Lee and they'll give it to you for free because they're hoping that you find a color that you like. So let's say this blue right here, and you say, okay, I like this blue. It's called 079 Just Blue, and then you order the bigger sheet from them. But the sample kit is good because it allows you to have some options to play around with different colors. I like that it gives you the name for each color that you're working with so you know what to order. So highly recommend these. These are Lee filters again. Got this stainless steel spring bar sample kit. So this is kind of cool. They label it all. It goes from 8mm lugs to 25mm. So put them all in there. Got this tool here for holding down the case of the watch. So sometimes if I need to change a battery on a case back that requires unscrewing. So for example, let's take this Timex perpetual timer. And if you look at the case back here, this is one of the ones that you have to pry off. So I'll put that in here to kind of hold it. And then I will use a different instrument to kind of pry the case back. And then these are like made out of silicone or soft plastic so it doesn't damage the watch. Yeah, I think there are other uses for this too, but I don't really work too much on the internals of a watch for mechanical or automatic, just digital. So I'm sure there are other uses. This is great. This is just a case back opening tool. Not going to be designed for this kind of case, but if you have a watch case that looks like, let me see here. What did I have to use this on? Yeah, most of these, I think, oh, here we go. Perfect. So I'm going to prop this up on my holder. So if you see this watch case back, it has these little indentations here. So that's what you use this tool for, is to kind of adjust how wide you need it, put it there, and then unscrew it, and then screw it back on. All right. So that one's pretty useful. I think, you know, sometimes people pay to do stuff like change batteries at their local shop. That's great. I think that's important. You know, you're supporting a local business. But some of this stuff I think you can trust to do yourself, like changing out batteries. You know, it's nice to know what to do, so that way you don't have to pay too much for it. I'm just putting away these watches really quick. And then actually I'll show you what's holding my phone right now. And let's put away the watch on my wrist too, so that way you can see all the watches I have so far later on in the video. Alright, so I'm using this, I think it's called an X grip. What's the name of it? Is that right? Yeah, X grip, there you go. So it's just a grip thing. These are usually meant for mounting cell phones to cars, sometimes motorcycles. This one, I just went ahead and screwed it in underneath, and that's kind of provides my cell phone holder for hands-free filming. Got some small stuff here, so I keep this tray for some cloth, you know, just to wipe down the glass. This is really, really soft, even softer than a microfiber. I use these Q-tips all the time. These are not standard. These are, you can tell, pointed, and they're a little bit firmer. So they're great at, they're great for using with the Goo Gone or the Goof Off when I need to scrub away the excess glue, or just cleaning, you know, parts of the watch that might be harder to get to. I get these sometimes with packages. I order these stickers to help remove dust from a glass or a cell phone before you apply a film. So I just decided to keep them just in case I need to use them. This is really cool. I love this thing a lot. So this is one of the main tools I go to. So if I need to cut out a filter, or if I need to use a pair of tweezers, I'll go to this Victorinox. This is the Super Tinker. And this thing's kind of cool because it was given to me as a gift from my mom. So I'm going to get a little sidetracked here, but let me show you. I added these aftermarket green scales on it, I like the color green. It's got some tweezers in there, which I use with the watches. It's got a pen in there, which is great. And then here, there's a small pin. You've probably seen this in my other videos. I use this pin to create a separation between the polarized filter and the watch module after spraying on that Goo Gone. So that's the pin I use. You can see it's a little bent there from a lot of use. And then, of course, the scissors I use a lot, just for cutting out the filters. And the pliers, if I need to change links on a stainless steel watch like my Casio World Time, this will help to pull that pin that's holding those links in there. So yeah, this is pretty great. Oh, and kind of a bonus here. This is really nice. My mom had it engraved for me on my 13th birthday, which is when I received this. So she wrote my birth date on the year that I got it there. So I was born in '83, but she gave this to me in '96. So that was really nice. All right, and then let's see here. I've got this micro screwdriver set here, which is going to be this. This one I use almost all the time for removing case backs from watches if you have to do a battery change or a modification. A wallet comb, stainless steel. I usually use this just as a straight edge. I don't really use the comb part too much. I have a different wallet comb that I carry. And then I guess it has a bottle opener there too if I need to crack a beer open. But this is good for using as a straight edge for marking on the case, on the display with a Sharpie, and then using the scalpel on this. This tool here, I've used it, you know, sparingly. So this is called a notching tool, I think. So for example, let me take a strap that has not been used. Usually you're only going to use this on leather. So this one's been already notched, but let's say this strap was wider, that it wasn't cut here at the ends. This is actually a 22mm strap. And let's say I wanted to fit it to this Timex Black Max, which is an 18mm lug. So 22 millimeters, 18. I have to shave off 4 millimeters. And what this does is you basically put this to one side after you've measured, and then you just push down and it kind of hole punches that piece of leather out there. It's been good for me. It's a little bit harder to get a finer cut, you know, especially when you're talking about millimeters. So I usually just revert to a scalpel. But you know, still a cool thing to have. Little flashlight here with a hat clip, just in case I need to see something a little bit more clearly. The Through Night TI4. I don't know how many lumens that produces, but it's pretty bright. I put in some rechargeable batteries in there. This foldable tape measure. You know, sometimes if a lug falls off of a watch or I have an extra lug and I don't know the size, I'll use this to measure it. And then here are the main tools I use. Besides the screwdriver there, you've got this hobby scalpel or hobby knife. This is the lug removal tool to help remove your spring bars and have access to that strap. A couple small screwdrivers here. This is also a watch tool that has a pin at the end for pushing out the spring bars that usually hold the clasp to the bracelet of a watch for stainless steel. Got a couple tweezers here. And then these are just some screen protectors that I use on my Casio, so I don't really use those all the time. And let's see here. I got a chopping board that I've just commissioned purely for watches. So if I'm cutting anything, like removing polarized filters or, I don't know, maybe occasionally working with liquids, I'll have that underneath. Got a small microfiber towel here, just for either my hands or to clean one of the watches I'm working with. And I think that's it. So, oh yeah, got a couple bowls here. So I use this for my liquids like Goo Gone and Goof Off sprayed in there. And then when applying super glue, it's really hard to apply it with the bottle itself. It usually applies it too thick for my needs. So I spray a little bit onto this bowl wrapped in tin foil. The tin foil is great because it doesn't really cause the glue to harden and the glue stays malleable for longer. And then I just put a couple Q-tips in here to apply a small thin film of the super glue. All right, so on to my watches. I'm pretty sure this is all that I have right now. So I used to have a lot more. I used to have actually a whole bottom row filled, but you know, my whole philosophy with collecting, and it's not the right way, it's just the way that I do it, is that, you know, I bought this case and I told myself I don't really want to expand more of my collection beyond this case. I think for me personally, which others may not agree with, it's nice to have a little bit of a limitation in your collection because number one, it's just cheaper on your wallet. Number two, it forces you to kind of really appreciate and think about how much you're using the watch. And then number three, you know, when you not donate, but when you sell a watch to acquire another watch, there's a little bit, I don't know, for me, I tend to appreciate something more if I had to give something up because it forces me to really think about, hey, do I really want to buy this watch knowing that I have to give up something for my collection? So that's just for me personally, but you know, I'm joining all these groups right now for watches on Facebook, and there's so many great stuff on Instagram too, so who knows how well I'm going to obey that rule. But let's just go left to right. I'm sorry if I don't know the exact model numbers of these, but this Omega was given to me by my dad. He's had this since he did his residency here in the U.S. My parents are both from the Philippines. This one was given to me by my mom. So my dad's dad gave this watch to my mom when she graduated from her residency, I believe, here in the U.S. So those two obviously have a lot of meaning to me and just very thankful my parents gave those to me. They're both, that's a Tissot, by the way. And this one is an Omega Seamaster, and that is a Tissot Visodate C Star. All right, and then this one, the company is called Lenvino. The model is Le Chronos, and this is this is a hand winding watch, and kind of a cool design. I just like the automotive theme that it has to it. So with this one, the white hand here at the bottom tells you the hours. The minutes are given here by this thicker red hand, and this seconds hand here that's small is going to be for the seconds. Then you got the date window right there. And I got this on a Xeric rib strap in gray, which I really like. So, fantastic strap. I can't recommend these enough. They just look so cool. A little bit of retro, kind of reminds me of an old or a 1980s or 70s sports car leather seat. So this one I really love. This one I bought from Tomo328 on eBay. Amazing seller, by the way. Tomo328. She's based out of Japan, I think. And she sells usually just very unique looking watches. And this one is called the Orient. What is this one called? Orient ERAM, ERAM 001. And this is, they call it a jump hour design. It's not really a traditional jump hour, but it is automatic. And you have your hours and minutes basically displayed here in between these two arrows, and your date down there. You got this cool rotating seconds hand here. See if I can shake that up. Yeah, there you go. And you got that gorgeous green color, which is really nice. So then moving over, I got this Timex Black Max used off eBay. Put it on this no-name strap. This is hand winding, just a really cool retro look. I mean, I wish they would bring this back in a bigger size. And you got a date window there too. This was the first watch that I ever bought. This is a Timex Perpetual Calendar. Don't know the model number, but I just really like that green, olive green finish. And then I put this on a ribbed Xeric band again. And finishing up with a couple, technically not Seiko on the right, but owned by Seiko, I think. So this is the Seiko Flightmaster SNA 413. It's a panda design. Just a really beautiful watch. These are getting really, really collectible. I actually bought 3 of these a while ago with the intention of saving them, and then sold them way too early because like within 6 months after I sold them for about 300 bucks, they're now selling for about like 500 or 600 on eBay. So pretty cool watch. And then this is by Wired. This is the Agam, Seiko Agam something. I forgot the model number, but AGAM. So this is cool. As you can tell in the later watches below, I have a thing for digital watches. So this is based off the Metal Gear Solid 5 watch, not the real one from the video game, but a series based on that design. And I just love that blue color. I love the way the seconds kind of go around this display. And the lighting on this is actually really cool too, if I can... Yeah, there you go. It's kind of got that blue color. And then threw that on a Xeric too. A Xeric Rib 22mm. Moving down, I just bought this watch from Costco, really cheap. It's a Casio PRW, I think. And this is an ABC watch, meaning altimeter, barometer, and compass. So it's meant for day-to-day use, yes, but also for basic functions for backpacking, like telling you possibly what storms might be coming, your direction with a compass. So still don't know how to use this, so I have to go through that booklet. To the right of that, we have the Casio DW403, also called the surfing timer. Really love this cool design. So again, I think my 2 themes that you can tell that I like are digital and then kind of retro 1970s, 1980s design. So it's just a cool looking dial. Pretty busy, so not for everybody, but I think just the colors that they have here and the layout is pretty nice. And then threw that also on a Xeric ribbed. These 2 are probably my favorite Casios that I modded. So this is the AE 1200 case, and this is the AE 1300 case. And the 1300 always comes with these cool yellow bordered subdials. So I bought a bunch of 1300s and threw on these maskings, which is where those yellow subdials are, into these cases. And then for this one, I bought a Schemy, which I think is a knockoff or a homage. I don't know which one it is exactly. A Schemy black bracelet to kind of complement this. So these 2 are kind of cool, and I put those 2 on a negative display. This one I just modded the other day, or last week, I think. So this is an AE 1300 also with this grayish scale. And for this one, I was basically following the design of @hitmix on Instagram, HITMICCS. So he came up with this really cool but simple design of like orange on the analog clock, and then you get that yellow and green. And I threw this on a, who makes these? Black Web is the company strap. It was only $5 or $4 actually off of Amazon. So Black Web, I definitely recommend checking them out. And by the way, I forgot to mention on all these watches, if it's leather, I always use a dual deployant clasp. So if you don't know what that means, traditional clasps look like this. You know, you have something like that, and then there's a little tongue, I think is what goes here. With those straps, usually what ends up happening is you have to kind of pull the leather in one direction, and that kind of puts a crease on the leather and can damage it over time. So I always use these dual deployants because they make putting on the watch much easier. So for example, show this one to you. So with this one, you just kind of put it on. You do one side first, and then you do the other. And then before you pinch it down, you kind of put the strap inside the keeper, which is that little loop that you usually get on the watch already. And sometimes this is a little bit hard to do, but there you go. You put on the keeper and then you push down. And so really you can see in all those movements, I didn't have to pull the leather, you know, this way or that way to kind of adjust it. So that's the whole idea behind a dual deployant. Some people say it's more comfortable. Some people like to get a different color for their bracelet, so that's why they do this. But for me, I just do it to protect the longevity of the leather. Okay, then moving on, I did this hockey theme watch for my favorite hockey team, the San Jose Sharks. So I got that teal on the strap there, and then I ordered this. This is an Elite Bartman strap, which is kind of great quality, by the way, and good value. Kind of looks like a hockey puck here, so that's why I chose that. I notched this one, so we went over that. We kind of cut it to make it fit. Put my team's colors on those top 3 subdials, and then I chose this like satin filter from Lee's Filters on the left there that I showed you to kind of give you that appearance of ice. I don't know if that's coming out in the video. There you go. So it kind of looks like an ice rink where skaters have skated on. So yeah, kind of cool. And then lastly, these 2 Casios are really special. So just like my parents gave me those 2 watches on the top left, growing up, you always have that one family member or a couple of them that really are like your second father or mother. And so this one belonged to my Uncle Edwin, who has kind of played that figure in my life and my brother's life. And he unfortunately passed away, but he had given this to me years back, and I lost it. And I was going through my closet when I was moving here to my new place, and I just happened to come across this, so I changed the battery out, and it's kind of nice to have his watch there. And next to it, about 4 months ago, my Uncle Edgar, who is the brother of my Uncle Edwin, invited me over, and I helped him repair some of his other watches. And so as a thank you, he was so nice, he gave me his calculator watch. So to have both brothers give me their calculator watch was just really, really nice and very special. So they're obviously got some scratches on them, and they're not pristine, but you know, there's nostalgia and a lot of meaning behind these watches more than they look. So, and I threw these on some no-brand AliExpress French NATO straps. All right, so that's pretty much a look. Wow, this video came out a lot longer than I thought, as most of my videos do. Anyways, thanks for sticking with it, guys. Just wanted to give you a quick look at my workstation and my watch collection. If you could comment, like, or subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. You can find me on Instagram at lowercase watch _n_carry. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.